It's 8 o'clock, and here are our top stories.
You send your kids to school and thinking they're going to make it back home, and they're not.
The Texas community heartbroken and in mourning.
She played softball. She played basketball.
All I can hope is that she's just not a number. Hopefully something gets resolved.
19 children and 2 women lost when a gunman opened fire on a 4th grade classroom.
I just don't understand how people could sell that type of a gun to a kid, to an 18-year-old.
I didn't know he had weapons or nothing or this or that there. If I would have known, I would have reported it.
A tragedy one Colorado father knows all too well.
I had a really sleepless night last night. Thinking about what those parents are going through.
Tonight, a look at the resources available to help us get through these heartbreaking times and begin to heal.
It doesn't necessarily have to happen in your backyard. It can happen anywhere in this country, and it impacts us all.
Good evening. Glad you're watching Denver 7 News on Local 3 tonight. I'm Shannon Ogden.
I'm Daniel New. What should have been a fun day just before summer break turned into a nightmare when 19 children and 2 teachers were shot and killed at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas on Tuesday.
So instead of planning vacations, families tonight are planning funerals. These are some of the faces of the victims we know so far. They were daughters and sons and cousins and friends.
4th grade teacher Eva Mireles is remembered as an educator filled with compassion who went the extra mile for her students.
Irma Garcia was a co-teacher in that same classroom and was getting ready to celebrate her 25th wedding anniversary with her husband.
10-year-old Xavier Lopez's mother had just attended his awards ceremony hours before the shooting, and that was tragically the last time that she saw him alive.
Ileana Cruz Torres, cousins Annabelle Rodriguez and Jacqueline Jalen Cazares, Amarie Joe Garza, all also lost their lives. Amarie, in fact, just turned 10 2 weeks ago. Her father says tonight, "My little love is now flying high with the angels above. Please," he says, "don't take a second for granted. Hug your family. Tell them you love them."
Now, this was all at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, and we're learning more about how this tragic situation came to be. So tonight we're finding out that the 18-year-old gunman stormed inside a classroom there and then barricaded himself inside and opened fire on students and teachers.
Authorities say he had just turned 18 on May 16th and days later bought 2 AR-15 style rifles. The carnage began when this gunman allegedly shot his own grandmother in the head. Now, she survived. Authorities say he then stole her truck from the home and then crashed it right outside Robb Elementary, got out of the truck wearing tactical gear, including a vest that could hold ammunition. He then shot a Uvalde school police officer who had responded.
In the days leading up to the attack, authorities say that the gunman reportedly sent pictures and videos of guns to users on various social media platforms, and several users also say that the suspect had been abusing animals and showing videos of that to others on social media as well.
Well, despite hundreds of mass shootings over the past 2.5 decades, very little has been done in Congress about gun regulations. And today, during a press conference with Texas Governor Greg Abbott, gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke approached the stage and interrupted him. Take a look.
Sit down. You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Hey,
sit down and don't play this stuff.
Next shooting is right now, and you're doing nothing.
No.
He's scheduled to speak at the NRA convention this Friday in Houston, Texas, just days after these kids were slaughtered right here in Uvalde. He says this was unpredictable. It was totally predictable.
Tonight, Governor Abbott would not say if he's going to cancel his visit to the NRA convention in Texas. He only said, quote, he's living moment to moment.
The father of Daniel Mauser knows the kind of pain families are going through. Daniel was killed in the Columbine shooting when he was 15 years old. His dad, Tom, hopes that some kind of action finally comes.
Their lives are changed. They're going to be going through trauma for some time. It's really difficult to process the fact that we still have this happening. And we talk about it when it happens, and then we do nothing.
Tom says Daniel questioned loopholes in gun laws before he was killed, and he promises that he will fight to continue for gun reform in his son's honor.
And the shooting in Texas has put Denver's school on alert. The school district sent Denver 7 a statement today saying there will be increased police presence in and around schools for the final 2 weeks of the year. There are also mental health professionals available for students and teachers who need them. Now, events like Uvalde yesterday take a toll on all of us, including our children.
It's why programs like I Matter in Colorado are so important. It was implemented during the height of the pandemic to provide access to mental health and substance abuse resources for young people.
Denver 7's CB Cotton shows how the program has been working and the resources it provides.
It's very important to get this message out.
A message Officer Elizabeth McGregor has carried throughout her career.
They need the resources.
Children need resources and a place to go for help. Now, Aurora officers are letting youth know where they can go to get it.
This is a free service that already exists. Why not elevate it?
In the fall of last year, the state launched the I Matter program. It provides up to 6 free virtual counseling sessions for those 18 or younger. This week, the Aurora Police Department became the first agency to partner with the program.
You know, we've held several different town hall events over the last 6 months in response to youth violence here in Aurora. And a recurring theme that we've heard from youth, from parents and educators is that our youth need a safe space to talk to adults about the problems that they're facing.
Joshua Nicholas manages community relations for Aurora Police. He says the agency has ordered signs, brochures, and other handouts and hopes to connect community members with the I Matter program.
We're trying to plaster the town. There's no reason youth and adults shouldn't know about this free resource, particularly given just the number of challenges our youth are facing right now.
The most recent challenge, fears of gun violence after 19 children were killed at a Texas elementary school.
And we heard from some administrators today at APS, in fact, that said parents are upset, kids are crying because of what happened in Texas yesterday. So it doesn't necessarily have to happen in your backyard. It can happen anywhere in this country, and it impacts us all.
And those who help lead the I Matter program say they can provide immediate help.
And we've had almost 8,000 completed appointments since October 27th when the program launched. And we have 700 appointments that are scheduled and upcoming.
McGregor and Nicholas know there's a need for mental health resources in their community, and they want Aurora's youth to know exactly where they can get it.
Right? When you know better, you do better. So it's our hope that this program really helps our youth to thrive this summer, to feel safe, and to feel cared for.
To me, it's very important to see that through.
CB Cotton, Denver 7.
And to learn more about the I Matter program and its free resources, visit imattercolorado.org. There is also Spanish-speaking counselors available. And if you can find ways to donate to memorial funds, if you'd like to help the families of these victims, you can do so right now on thedenverchannel.com.
The Colorado nonprofit is offering mental health services, especially for our state's Latino population. Servicios de la Raza says it has people standing by on its behavioral health phone line ready to help, along with several other programs in both English and Spanish.
We really try to be here as a support for community. We offer behavioral health services in both English and Spanish. We have weekly peer support groups where people could come in and just process with our peer specialists in English and Spanish weekly.
And if you want to call that number, it is 720-410-7108. We'll put that on the screen for you right there. And if you are not Latino but still need help, the nonprofit recommends contacting Colorado Crisis Services. That number to call is 1-844-493-8255. The phone lines are always open and confidential, and you can also text TALK to 38255. We know that is an extensive list, but we've made it easier by compiling all those resources, links, and how on our website, thedenverchannel.com.
A heartless crime caught on camera in Lakewood. Police say a man walking his dog attacked and robbed this 72-year-old woman. It was near the intersection of West Hamden and South Ammon Street on May 15th. If you know anything about this, please call police.
Today, President Biden signed an executive order on policing to mark 2 years since George Floyd was murdered by police in Minneapolis. The order requires federal law enforcement agencies to review and revise policies on use of force and will restrict the flow of surplus military equipment to local police. It also encourages limitations on chokeholds and no-knock warrants by attaching strings to federal funding.
Governor Polis today signed the Fentanyl Accountability and Prevention Act into law. Statistics show more than 900 Coloradans died of a fentanyl overdose last year. This new law makes possession of more than 1 gram a felony, and that is regardless of whether the fentanyl is pure or laced into another drug. And the law also raises the penalties for fentanyl dealers.
Denver City Council is moving forward with a bill to address foreclosures brought on by homeowners associations. This comes in response to a bill passed at the state level after an ongoing situation in Green Valley Ranch. If you remember, that is where more than 50 homes were foreclosed on by the Green Valley Ranch Master Homeowners Association for late fees connected to things like weeds in the rocks, trash cans left at the curb, and basketball hoops in the street. The state's recently passed bill puts a $500 limit on fees and gives residents a payment plan option, as well as making HOAs give a notice of delinquency to homeowners. Denver City Council wants to add its own provisions to the law as well and require HOAs provide a written notice of owners' rights and resources at least 30 days before taking foreclosure action. HOAs would also have to keep record of such notices, including the time and date they were issued. Denver Council President Stacy Gilmore hopes that these changes will keep families in their homes.
Home ownership is the primary contributor to building wealth and creating economic stability in our community. There has been a long history of barriers and discriminatory practices that have prevented more people of color from obtaining home ownership. For those families that achieve home ownership, the increasing cost of living in our city continues to threaten that stability.
Denver City Council will discuss these updates at its meeting on June 6th. A second reading would be planned for June 20th.
Nice temperatures out there today. You're going to really like what I have to show you for the 7-day forecast.
Everyone out of the pool. Memorial Day is almost here, but several community pools are being forced to close.
We've had to repurpose some of our staff to make sure we can get coverage out there.
And can the Avs take care of business at home in Game 5 against the Blues? Let's see if they can close out the series and head to the conference finals coming up in Denver 7 Sports.